A new M. Night Shyamalan movie that I liked. No, this is not the end of the world. It is a Drafthouse Diary for Thursday, February 9th, when I went to the Alamo Drafthouse Aspen Grove to see Knock at the Cabin. Now, I wasn't sure about this movie going in. I've said before that I like horror movies, but I don't like horror movies that involve people being awful to other people. And I wasn't sure about this. Based upon the trailers, I thought this might go into that territory. But I also knew that being a Shyamalan movie, it would have some kind of a twist that would probably pull it out of that. And I was right. It wasn't really about people being awful to other people, or at least it wasn't just about that. The setup is that there's a young family, two men and their daughter, who are on a vacation at a lake house. And these four people come to their cabin. They're led by Leonard, who's played by Dave Bautista. And these people want to come in to discuss something with this family. And when they are told they can't come in, they force their way in. They don't use violence except as necessary to get into the cabin and to restrain the adults in this little family so that they will listen to the message that these four people have. And that message is that this family must make a terrible choice. They must choose a terrible sacrifice. And if they refuse, the entire human race will end in a horrible cataclysm. But the rules, as they're explained by Leonard, are that none of these four can harm the family, and it has to be a decision made by the family. No one else can choose for them, and if they choose to make this sacrifice, they must carry it out. All the four people who have come to the cabin can do is explain what the situation is and ask them to make this choice. And they have several opportunities to say yes or no, but every time they say no, more of the human race will suffer and die. Now, it sounds as if it's harrowing, but if these people are really going to stick to their own rules, you can wait them out and just continue to say no, and they'll be proven wrong, and with luck, they'll go away. Except information starts coming in and other events occur which suggest maybe these four people are right. Maybe these cultists, for lack of a better term, know something that others don't. Ultimately, it's a movie about faith and belief and evidence and competing views, and about the question of if there's something you absolutely know you will never, ever choose, what might it take to change that, to lead you to do something you would never consider doing for maybe altruistic reasons? It's a play that's driven a lot by these ideas. I say play, it would have worked very well as a stage play, although if it were a stage play, we wouldn't be treated to some of the really shocking and intense visuals that we get towards the end of the movie that are not overused, but they really do make an impression. But that's why I say play. It has the feel of a play. It's a screenplay that it relies upon dialogue more than anything else, and it's about this clash of ideas with little bits of other kinds of evidence and information impinging on those and causing people to begin to question and change their minds. And the fact that it is carried by a very good cast is part of what gives it its power. Dave Bautista was brilliant casting for this because his character, Leonard, kind of the leader of this group, he's very soft-spoken, very polite, very gentle in demeanor, and he has this air of someone who sincerely, desperately wants to be listened to and understood. that he's under a terrible burden that he'd rather not be under, but he knows the importance and wants to be understood and believed. And as gentle and soft-spoken as Leonard is, there is, of course, the constant tension driven by the fact that Dave Bautista is huge and intimidating, and if he were going to be using force, there would be no question about the outcome. And that really adds an edge to the entire story and just about every scene. The rest of the four are played by Nikki Amuka-Bird, Abby Quinn, and Rupert Grint. Now, Rupert Grint is terrific. It always makes me smile to see Rupert Grint in something. He's very good in Servant, the Apple TV series, also, I believe, produced by Shyamalan. I just don't know what's going on with accents when it comes to Rupert Grint, be it the Philadelphia accent from Servant or the Massachusetts accent that he's putting on here in Knock at the Cabin. It's not quite working, and it's not just because Rupert Grint is so recognizable that every time he has a string of dialogue, it takes me out of the movie. And I wonder, well, why is Rupert Grint talking like that? How is this working? But nevertheless, it didn't ruin the movie, and it was still fun to see him in this role. And it's a strange role. Every one of these roles, especially of these four, is strange. And they are each unique. They're all unique individuals who have been brought together by this strange mission. The family, played by Jonathan Groff, who you might know as the voice of Sven and Kristoff in Frozen, and also Ben Aldrich. He's new to me. I know he's done some TV work, but he was also very good. And Kristen Cue as their daughter, little Wen. She is terrific. She has this natural sense of character. She has great responses, and she shifts as the tension shifts. And by the way, one of my concerns with this movie was that it would go into serious children in peril, child in peril territory. They established pretty early on that it doesn't. So there's just enough suggestion of that in some scenes to really raise the stakes, but it's not something for which I would warn people away for that reason. So overall, I enjoyed this movie very much. It was a movie about ideas. It was a movie about people. And it had a lot of interesting things to think about. I found myself thinking about this movie a great deal after I saw it. Other parts of my visit to the Alamo. The pre-roll for this showing was a custom pre-roll for this feature, and it was really fun. It had a series of clips woven throughout, Cinema's Nastiest Knocks, which were just clips from horror movies that involved a knock of some kind or a knock on a door. So it had a clip, of course, from The Babadook, a clip from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and some others. It was fun to see those, especially in context. The rest of the pre-show was mostly trailers for movies that had to do with the end of the world. So we had a trailer for the movie version of Hal Lindsey's book, The Late Great Planet Earth. And we had the trailer for The Beginning of the End. And another trailer that really grabbed me, and that was a trailer for a movie called Last Days of Man on Earth. Now, this trailer, it was some kind of a world-saving adventure featuring a super cool late 60s post-mod British science fiction secret agent super spy, exactly the kind of character that Austin Powers is lampooning. And as I watched this trailer for Last Days of Man on Earth, it made me think, this looks like Michael Moorcock's character, Jerry Cornelius. Michael Moorcock, science fiction writer, very prolific. He wrote 4 books featuring a swinging London science fiction superhero, super spy, secret agent called Jerry Cornelius. And I've read some of those. They're interesting books. They're fun to read. I cannot imagine anyone adapting this into film, but they did. That's what Last Days of Man on Earth is. In Britain, they made, around 1970 or so, they made a film version of the first Jerry Cornelius novel, The Final Program. And then they issued in the United States a different edit, a shorter version, renamed Last Days of Man on Earth. I had no idea this movie existed, but now that I do, I'm going to have to find it, and I'm going to have to watch it. And if I do find that movie and watch it, should I review that here on the channel? It's not exactly a Drafthouse Diary, but it's sort of Drafthouse adjacent. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me review movies like that, things that I discovered through Alamo pre-rolls and that kind of thing. But the rest of my visit, the food, I tried another item from their current limited time menu there. They're for your consideration, where they've brought back some special items. I had the Berbere spiced chicken wings, and they were amazing. They were delicious. That's one of the best things I've ever had at the Alamo, are these Berbere spiced wings. The coating it's a dry coating. It's not a sauce, so they were easier to eat in a movie theater context, although I still think in a movie theater, boneless wings might be a better way to go, but regardless, the Berbere spiced wings were terrific. I did pair them with a salad because, as good as they were, a plate of chicken wings is not a balanced meal, even if they do give you some celery with it. But I recommend those highly. The theater, very comfortable. The staff, I had limited interaction, but they were friendly and efficient. And all in all, it was a really enjoyable visit. A very good movie. Outstanding pre-show, some of the best food I've ever had at the Alamo. So that adds up to a good time. And if you enjoyed this review, please consider clicking like down below. If you want to see future Drafthouse Diaries, please consider clicking subscribe. But more important than that, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you being here. I'll be back with more reviews. And in the meantime, enjoy your movies. And when you do, stay till the end of the credits.